All right, what is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here, reporting in for kind of like a video talking about specifically Empire Core and just a little bit about them, some combos, some objectives that they're going to be good at or decent at, and what they can do for each objective, just to kind of give new players an idea of how to kind of go about this a little bit in a way. Just ideas for guys or for everybody, who's looking to just try to build an army and figure out what to do with them. Because you obviously have to have core in your army, no matter what list or battle force or whatever you're playing. So, and you come with snows in the Blizzard Force battle box, and you come with stormtroopers in the regular starter core box, and then you have to obviously get shores, but I'll talk a little bit about them and kind of what they do. And yeah, so if you haven't already left a comment and are a subscriber, do that for your chance to enter in to win a $25 gift certificate or gift card, I should say, for just being active on the channel. And yeah, we'll go over a few other things. If you haven't already, you can head to the Discord. This is where I asked a question the other day. I asked, what Empire units do you want to know a little bit more about? And obviously, we've gotten some Iden, oh my goodness, Callus, Vader, Inferno Squad, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then we got Core and asking, you know, what kind of upgrades are great for them, just what can they do, just a great place to start. So yeah, I'm going to ask questions every now and then in the video section. That way I can get an idea of what you guys want. So that's another reason why it's awesome to join the Discords, because this whole video, everything I do for this channel is for you guys. And I just want to help and do what I can to give out as much information that I know of and or seen and or have played, so that we can make this community better. And so yeah, that's a part of the Discord. So head on there, post everything you want, and feel free whenever I ask a question, just talk. So thanks, Jose and the Chosen One, and Emperor Atlantis, and Canadian Bear, and Auburn alum, and Loki, father of Loki. Thank you so much for doing so much and just being here. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. I love the Discord and everything you guys do. Also, head over to the Patreon here, the Clan of Shadows, where you can donate to join and get everything early. So I'm usually recording on Sunday or Mondays, and I want to have enough time for everyone on the Patreon to be able to watch them. You can comment on it. You can give any kind of information out. If there's other videos specifically for Patreon that you want me to cover, that way it's just for you guys, feel free. If you are a part of the Patreon, I do have like a little section for like list building help in case you're specifically needing some list building stuff and wanting to kind of go over a few things. Go ahead and become a Patreon, and I will add you to it. Also, I want to say that if you haven't already, you can head over to theburnacademy.com, subscribe for $15 a month, download the app, and you're going to get 3, 4, 5, and 6 day week workout programs. You're going to get corrective exercise programs in case you've ever injured yourself and you need a little bit of help getting back into it. 30-minute programs in case you're short on time. Abs at home. All these different types of programs for you. Videos and descriptions with videos of the exercises you're supposed to be doing, coaching videos, 120 different recipes, ways to track your progress. So there's a lot to it, and it's a great way to keep yourself accountable in what you're doing. And yeah, if you ever have questions about any exercise or different workouts, feel free to message me and talk to me about it. I'll do what I can. I've been doing this since 2012, so I've been doing it for a while, and it's something I absolutely love helping and showing people. So yeah, head on over there for that. So let's go ahead and get started. So core, let's just take a quick look at core options, especially here. Let me just go here to the core. All right, so for Imperial core, you really have the shore troopers, snow troopers, storm troopers, and then you've got the DF-90 mortar. Empire can take Black Sun enforcers and Pike Capo foot soldiers as well. They are mercenary units, and for just without allies of convenience, you can bring 2 core units that are either Black Sun or Pike, and or You can have a Black Sun and a Pike. It's just kind of up to you. Usually, either someone brings 2 Black Enforcers and a Vigo, or 2 Pike Foot Soldiers and a Capo. Or, I mean, if you were to bring 2 Black Suns with the Vigo inside of it, then you don't have to have the Vigo as a commander. But it just kind of depends on your way of wanting to build a list and what you kind of want to use. But yeah, you are allowed at least 2 different core units for free. You don't even have to have allies of convenience. If you want a third one, then you do have to have allies of convenience. But that's all you can have, up to 3 core, because you're going to have at least 3 core of Imperial units first. So as long as you meet the 3 Imperial unit core threshold, then you can start adding some more, and then allies of convenience to make that a little bit more as well. So my absolute favorite core for the Empire are Shores. They only have 1 heavy, and it's the T-21B. It's range 1 to 4, it's 2 black and 2 white, and it's critical 1. So that's really nice, especially in the armor meta. If you're not bringing much impact, which they don't have impact, but they have critical 1, and it's really nice. Now, some armored vehicles have cover. Well, critical 1, it's going to bypass that cover. Impact will be affected because cover is going to take effect first. The dodge and cover step is going to take effect. Then you would have impact, and then armor would take the rest of them away after that. So if it's like armor 3 and you have impact 2, besides dodge and cover, if they had no cover and you impacted 2 and then you still had any kind of hits left, their armor would take the rest up to however many. And then after that, if you still had some hits left, it could go through, but that's for the ISP and a few other things and spiders. But for the most part, most things have cover 1 and armor, like the airspeeder and the LAAT, the LAT, or just regular armor, kind of like the ATST and the Gav tank and the Saber tank and the AAT. But yeah, so the critical 1 really helps with that, but you'd have to rely on getting a surge. So sometimes you might not get the surge, but the critical 1 does help a lot. And some really good upgrades are maybe like offensive push, because you're going to want that aim. And Hunter could work, sure. Overwatch, maybe not so much. And really, that's kind of it. You really offensive push. When it comes to core, I don't really tend to deck them out with a bunch of upgrades, because they're usually the first to fall, or they're the ones going in and trying to do a lot of the work. Sometimes you can even completely do them naked, where there is no heavy or regular personnel. You just kind of use them as objective doers. So like with payload, it just requires bodies. And if you've got red die saves, you're doing pretty good with 4 bodies. I've seen clones do well with just 3 core, no heavies, no personnel, just trying to do what they can to complete the objective, while everything else went forward and tried to disrupt and or do what it needed to take out some other units. So core, they don't have to be decked out. You don't have to put heavies and or personnel, or you could just put personnel. You don't have to put heavies if you needed to save points, depending on what you're doing. But yeah, I enjoy having Shores the most because their heavy is really, really good at range 1 to 4. You also have coordinate to a mortar trooper, or an emplacement trooper, I should say. The only emplacement troopers that Empire has are the E-webs. It's an emplacement trooper, so technically shore troopers could coordinate to an E-web. So if you were playing technically the Imperial Remnant and you had to have shore troopers, and maybe you took E-webs instead, you could kind of have a few more shore troopers. Whenever they get an order, they could give an order out to an E-web. No, it's just kind of up to you, because they also gain independent aim or dodge outside of range 2 of commander. So maybe if you wanted to just automatically give them an aim, then I wouldn't give them an order and keep them beyond range 2. But it is a possibility, just in case you ever needed to. Maybe you were playing a Gav list, or you had a Gav tank, and you wanted an E-web on top of it. Instead of having to put onboard comms channel onto the Gav, you could just have some shore troopers who are taking cover behind the Gav. Whenever the shore troopers got an order, they'll get an aim, and then they'll also give an order out to the E-web. Then with E-web, you could obviously give it link targeting array. But yeah, okay, so back to the Shores. Offensive push is really kind of like the best training slot or training upgrade that you would want to put on Shores. And then targeting scopes. I think targeting scopes is, if you have the extra points, I think it would be awesome, because whenever you're shooting the T-21B, let's say that you gave the shore troopers an order, they're going to get an aim from target 1, and then if they get an order and another unit, another emplacement trooper is at range 1 of the unit, and it doesn't have to be from the unit leader, it's just if you have cohered your unit to a way that it's still range 1 away from an emplacement trooper, a mortar or E-web, then the mortar or the E-web will get an order. So that's really, really nice. Now let's just say that you had you had Gideon Hask, who has also coordinate to a core trooper. Well, you're not going to be able to coordinate to a mortar and a core. You pick one. So if you have Gideon on a shore and you give them an order, you're either going to be able to give another shore trooper an order, or if you really wanted to, the mortar for that fire support specifically. Other than that, you don't necessarily need Gideon on the shores. And the problem with shores is that they don't surge no matter what. So especially offensively, not surging is tough, and that's why their range 1 to 4 T-21B has critical 1 is so important and so awesome, because at least you can utilize a surge, and you're probably going to be rolling some surges with the black dice. So I just wanted to set this up real quick, and I'll do a few rolls for you just to kind of see. But this is what a standard T-21B and 4 minis would look like. So you have your 4 black for the regular unit, and then you'd have the 2 black, 2 white for the heavy, rolling 8 dice altogether, which is another reason why it's really good. And so let's just roll the dice. So you've got at least a surge here. So that's 2 crits. Those 2, let's just say everything's got heavy cover. That'd be 4 going through. There's at least a crit. There's a crit and a surge. And so for the most part, a crit, you're going to be rolling possibly at least a surge there. 1 crit, there's a crit and a surge per roll for the most part. So this is really, really nice. See, there's surges. You're basically getting a surge almost every single roll, except for that one, obviously. And as soon as I say it, obviously there's nothing. But yeah, see, there's at least a surge going on. So, ooh, that's a really good one. That'd be 5 crits. Woo! And that's another reason why I love them so much, because they're going to be able to get something through. Even in the last game that I had, the T-21B scored 2 crits at least against the LAT, which wound up saving everything, or whatever. So that was a good game with Canadian Bear in the league match. He does really, really well and is a really good player. If he ever has the time, and you ever have the time and the ability to play him, I definitely highly recommend it. And so yeah, so targeting scopes, offensive push, and then the regular T-21B I would have. I would never put Del Miko, the sniper, on a shore trooper unit, and for the most part, I would rarely put Gideon on a shore trooper unit, because you're taking away the T-21B and range 1 to 4 and the surge to crit, because Gideon and or Del doesn't surge, and you want some surges for sure for them. And you kind of waste the emplacement coordinate, because with Gideon, he already has coordinate, but these guys also have already coordinate, so you don't necessarily have to have it. The only time that I would put him on there is if you just want him for the extra courage, and you want to make them somewhat deadlier at range 1 to 3, but it's not really even that much deadlier, so you're not wasting Gideon on a short trooper unit. You're definitely wasting a short trooper unit with Del Miko. There's literally no point for that, because it's a sharpshooter who won't surge, and there's already a problem not surging for the Imperial snipers. You want that, and they don't have sharpshooter, so it's just so tough. You don't want to rely on 2 black dice doing that. So yeah, that's why you never put Del or possibly Gideon on shores. Shores are just really, really good with the regular T-21B. Now I think the best personnel to go on them is the comms technician, because the comms technician, obviously you can put HQ uplink on them, and that will give them their target 1, and then you can just recover and shoot, and then pop a HQ uplink, give them an order, and then recover and shoot if you needed to. If they're in a good position, that's what they could do. And if the DF-90 mortar was around them, and you could afford it, you can HQ uplink the shore, give the DF-90 a mortar, or DF-90 mortar trooper an order. Then if you were to fire at range 4, you could technically possibly roll, 2 black and 5 white, and it would be suppressive, critical 2. So that wouldn't be the worst thing either. If you just specifically had to roll, let's see, the 2 black, let's see, come on. Why is it not wanting to roll? There we go, 2 black and 5 white. Critical 2, suppressive, there's at least 2 hits. There's 2 crits, 2 hits. There's 2 crits. There's 3 crits. That's 1 crit at least. There's 3 crits again. So there's 4 crits. Wow, yeah. So just with the mortar and the T-21B alone, having to shoot at range 4 is really good. So I love it. And if you did have to pick another, personnel, I mean, the Imperial officer could go on any core unit, I think. And then the medical droids, astromech, depends on, do you want to keep people alive, or you want to keep armor alive if you have a lot of armored units. So like if you played a Gav tank with the shores, the astromech would be really good to have. And then the regular shore trooper, for 10 points, I don't think it's worth it. I think it would need to go down still to like 8 or so. But yeah, for the most part, I think you just need the heavy, and the comms technician wouldn't be that bad. But then, if you did have the comms tech, you're going to be rolling quite a lot of black dice at range 3, or just quite a lot of dice in general at range 3. And then the targeting scopes would really, really help, again, because they only gain that critical 1. So, these are some of the nice builds I would like to have. And then the mortar. Really, I never do anything to the mortar. I never give it linked targeting array or anything like that, because sometimes you're just not going to give it in order, or have it get in order. And yeah, so for order control, possibly having 3 shores, 3 mortars could be good, because if you were to give just the 3 core in order, then they could all possibly coordinate at some point. Then you don't have to worry about drawing core out of the bag. You've got a little bit better of the control for that. Now, the DF-90 mortar is amazing for hostage exchange. It's got a big base. It's already courage 2. And giving it a hostage makes it courage 3. You're already speed 1, so that's not going to matter. And your base is going to be traveling farther than a regular standard trooper unit. So if you do have a DF-90 mortar, and or if not, and you're just bring it for the sake of possibly having it at least a range 2 or 3 to 4, and suppression is amazing now to dish out. But having courage 3, 3 health, and having a bigger base. And you can move backwards. So say that, you're playing hostage exchange, and they move you the speed 1, but they keep you facing their army. That's fine. You don't have to take a free reposition and a full pivot to make that happen. I mean, sure, if you wanted to. But you could just move backwards and backwards. That way, if you did need to shoot at some point, you don't have to do a reposition or anything and then a move. You can already just keep it going. So yeah, just move backwards with the mortar. And again, they're going to be moving faster than a regular standard trooper unit. If you didn't have any mortars or shores, snow troopers are going to be the next best for hostage exchange, because obviously they have steady. So snow troopers, they could just move, and then get a free shot off. So that is another reason why, snows are going to be really good at hostage exchange. And then they'll be going to courage 2. Now, for upgrades, the flame trooper is probably going to be the better pick. The ion trooper, not that great, to be honest. It's impact 1, ion 1. Okay, sure, but you're going to need more impact than that. And a black and 2 white at range 1 to 3 is not very strong, and it's not going to do very much. It's going to put all of your trooper units in a bad range, because they're all going to get shot at this point, and then you're not even having much offensive output on this, and then it's exhaustible, so then you'll have to even spend an action to recover. Now, I get the idea, because they have steady, why they would make it this way, because then you could recover, move, and then get a shot off, and then recover, move, and get a shot off, but you're never going to have an aim unless you've got an Imperial officer giving out aims, or some sort of way to get them, maybe even from the generic 3-pip, that if the core unit spends an aim and can give it to another unit between range 1 to 2, that would be something to use if you do plan on just having core units and mostly use a lot of them. But I'm going to be real and honest with you. Empire does not have the best gunline core units. The clones will have the best, obviously, because they can share tokens. They've already got the black dice, or better, depending on what it is. But you'll be able to get a lot more out of the clone core than you would anything else. But these aren't bad. Having red dice saves is amazing because it's a 50-50 chance of getting saved or not. And then if you have surges, it's a little bit more, like 66, I think. You've got a better chance of surviving. But red dice on core, amazing, because it just makes their value a little bit better. Now, the Flame Trooper is going to be great with a regular Snow Trooper and frags. Now, this is a great standard Snow Trooper build because you're going to have a red dice, per se, for the personnel upgrade. You're going to have a black dice for per mini with the flamethrower. So maybe say that you're going up against Ewoks now. Well, maybe say that there's 7 of them in the unit. You're going to roll 7 black dice, 1 red dice, and then 4 white dice, all at range 1. It is blast, so they're not going to be able to benefit from low profile or anything like that. And you do surge to hit. Or you would surge to crit with the frag grenade. So that's really, really, really nice. And maybe even you didn't want to roll 4 extra white. You could just roll 5 red and then 7 black for almost a full Ewok squad. But yeah, the flamethrower is going to be your best. And with the being able to double move at speed 1 is equivalent basically to a range 3 or speed 3. And it would kind of be like Mando's moving and then getting a shot off with no aim. So you could double move and then eventually use this. If you're using Blizzard Force has the card that allows you to spur a core unit. So being able to move speed 2 with the snows, move them twice, and then still get a range 1 attack off is going to be really worth it. And having Vader there, Commander Vader, with infinite courage value, it doesn't matter about their suppression in a way, especially at range 1 to 3 of Vader. Now, if they were so kind of suppressed, like obviously they had more than 1 suppression on them, Vader, if they're at range 1, I think, range 1, maybe range 1 to 2, you'd be able to have, let's see, Vader, compel. Yeah, at range 1 to 2, if another friendly core unit rallies and it's suppressed, not panicked, it can gain a suppression token, perform a free move. Well, if you have Commander Vader, nothing's going to get panicked, period, at range 1 to 3 of him. So at range 1 to 2, being able to compel someone, that's really, really nice. So yeah, so this is kind of like the best combo for Snow Troopers that I've seen. Now, Del Meeko can go good on snows. They don't have the sharpshooter, but they at least surge. And with steady, being able to aim, move into a position that is advantageous to you, and still getting a shot out is nice. Or being able to move into some heavy cover is, again, really nice. But also, Del Meeko has repair 2, capacity 1. So he can take 2 wounds off of a vehicle or IG, some sort of like Joy Trooper. He can take 2 wounds off once, and then that's it. So maybe you keep them behind an ATST, even in Blizzard Force. Well, you can't have Blizzard Force in Del Meeko, sorry. But maybe you have an ATST and you have the Snow Troopers. You can move the Snow Troopers out behind the ATST, get a shot off, and then move them back behind the ATST and stay safe. And with Del Meeko being at range 1 to 5 and your ATST having a really big base and especially a lot of firepower at range 1 to 4, being able to have this in conjunction with each other is pretty decent in my opinion. And then again, you can heal the ATST. Now, I have the Snow Trooper with the Ion Snow Trooper because obviously it's the only other upgrade that you can take besides, Gideon as well. But it's the only other Snow Trooper specific heavy that goes on, and I just wanted to kind of show it and talk about it. And I don't think it's really worth it. With 1 black and 2 white, and then you're probably going to be shooting another 4 white, so you got 6 white and a black. It's impact. There's no blast, so you still are going to be at the mercy of heavy cover. So for the most part, Delmico and the Flame Trooper are going to be your better setups. And even with Delmico, without sharpshooter, it's still at least okay to have on snows. Not the best, but yeah. All right, Stormtroopers. You're going to see a ton of HH-12s and Stormtrooper Specialist combos. It's a kind of a cheap option, and you're going to be recovering anyway. So you've got a cumbersome and exhaustive rocket launcher, and then you have an exhaustive Stormtrooper Specialist that gives you a free aim or surge. You're probably going to be shooting and then recovering each time, but you're always going to have an aim because you proc the Stormtrooper Specialist to get your aim, you fire. That's your first action. You already have an aim, and then you already have precise, and then you can recover or move. And then the next turn, after you've moved, since you're already up, you can recover, and then proc it, and then shoot, and still have an aim. So this combination is pretty deadly, especially against any kind of armor. The problem is just cumbersome, so you have to make sure that you're not picking objectives that require you to mostly move a lot. Like Bombing Run, you would never attach bombs to the Stormtrooper HH-12. That's just pretty obvious. You also have Gideon. I think Gideon does really well on storms and or snows because they do surge. The rest of them are range 3, and then at least Stormtroopers have precise. The reason I put them on Stormtroopers over the Snowtroopers is because Stormtroopers definitely want 2 actions, and with Gideon is going to increase the courage value by 1. So if he's on the Inferno Squad, you're going to have a Courage 3 unit. If it's on Stormtroopers, a Courage 2 unit. So it's a little bit less likely they're going to stay suppressed. They'll at least probably get 1 action, but you have a better chance of staying at 2 actions because you're going to be Courage 2 and need 2 suppression tokens to be suppressed. I also have given him the Imperial Comms Technician with HQ uplink because he, again, has Coordinate to a core trooper. So you proc the HQ uplink, you give the Stormtrooper Gideon Hask an order, then he can give another core unit in order, maybe like a Shore Trooper, who can then coordinate to a Mortar Trooper. So those are kind of like the better combos. Other than that, obviously, just for Stormtrooper purposes, the range 1 to 4 gun, Impact 1 is pretty cheap and awesome. That's a good go-to. The RT-97C should go down to 22 points, and then the T-21 Trooper could be like 21 points maybe. But, these are just all good standard ones that you don't have to bring with any other personnel. It just kind of depends. So like the DLT with Impact 1, you're probably going to be bringing this one a lot, and it's at least range 1 to 4, so you can keep most of your unit alive and back while you just shoot the DLT and hope to get off some crits and or that impact. The HH-12, again, with the combo is going to be a good one. And then the RT-97C, with the 3 white, you're still barely going to be getting a lot off. But it's something to be able to have at least precise with this gun. I would just stick to the DLT right now. And then the T-21, I've seen so many blanks constantly. It's like almost half the time that you have a T-21 roll, they're going to roll complete blanks, not even a suppression. So sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. That's why I think 21 points, maybe 20 points would be better. But it's either going to smack or it's not really going to do anything at all. That's why the DLT is pretty much the safest bet. But yeah, that's mostly what I would do for core. Even with the Stormtroopers, Recon Intel with the HH-12 and the Stormtrooper Specialist is going to be a good idea. And other than these personnel combos, you don't really need another one. But like I said, if you wanted a personnel slot, the Imperial Officer is going to be the best. And if you just need extra bodies, just bring the extra trooper unit that it comes with. Or the Medical Droid. The Medical Droid's also going to be really, really, really nice. Now, one reason why I love taking Shore Troopers and Mortars over Storms and Snows is because it's going to be cheaper overall. So if we were to just take a look real quick at the Shore Troopers. So with the heavy, so Shore Troopers and the Mortars, you have a full 6 activations. All of your core units are taken up. You have 372 points right now. Let's just say you did the same thing with 6 Stormtroopers and their DLT heavy. It's 384. There is a 12-point difference
with that. Now, granted, these are way more mobile. It doesn't have the same firepower, but you do have Impact 6 at the moment versus at least just Critical 3, or Critical 6, I should say, throughout that entire thing. So it's almost the same equivalent, and you're getting more HP with the Stormtroopers because obviously you've got 5 bodies per, and here you've got 5 bodies, but you only have 3 hit points on the DF mortar. So you're kind of losing out on 3 different or 4 different. Let's see. No, I don't want to do the math, but yeah, if each one's got 3 and the other one's got 2, so 2, 4, 6. Yeah, so there's 6 more HP at least with the other. So it just kind of depends. If you're needing to save points for other units, specifically kind of like Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Cad Bane, Den, IGs, you're probably better off going with the Shore Troopers because then you can still have pretty good firepower with less points. And then again, the DF Mortar is going to double up as a really good hostage exchange unit. And then it can fire support. So if you were to be able to, if you did need something with the extra suppression, or maybe you didn't really care about suppression, but you just needed that extra critical 1 possibility, this is a good thing to kind of fire support with. But yeah, so intercept transmissions, key positions, hostage exchange, payload, sabotage, and recover the supplies are really good for shores. Recover the supplies last because with sabotage, with recover, so I would go with the intercept, key, hostage, and payload for first and foremost. But if you absolutely had to, they can be okay at sabotage and moisture evaporators and recover the supplies. The shore troopers. Now the mortars cannot do anything about the moisture evaporators. They cannot repair or sabotage. And the recover the supplies, they cannot pick up any supplies. So emplacement troopers are a little bit limited in that capacity. You're better off with stormtroopers for that. But at least hostage exchange is going to be nice for this, and key positions, because maybe with key position and a mortar, maybe you kind of cover it up a little bit with their bigger base. And intercept the transmissions, you're going to be moving at speed 1, but, double moving is more than speed 3 away. So, yeah, I mean, the bigger base is just kind of, again, what it's going to be good for. Now, with the Stormtroopers, yeah, intercept the transmissions, key positions, recover, payload, sabotage, they're going to be good at pretty much everything. Okay, there's not really, I wouldn't go with hostage because, you can. Any unit, core unit's going to be good at hostage, but the mortar's going to be better, again, because of the bigger base. But yeah, it's just cheaper, 12 points. That's a whole vigilance that you can bring. Let's take a look at the Blizzard Force real fast. So the heavy response units are part of the Blizzard Force, and there's a few different combos that are going to be really good. The DLT and the HH-12 is going to be Impact 4 each shot. You can take aim and shoot, but then you're going to have to recover and then shoot. So if you're going to bring, the DLT and the HH-12, what I would do is bring Veers and or at least another commander to hand out as many aims as possible before they go shooting. But Impact 4 is going to be really, really good. Another good one that you would wind up seeing is probably the DLT and the T21. Just trying to get some extra crits out. But the best one that you're probably going to see for long range is the DLT-19 and the RT-97C, because you're shooting at range 4, 3 red, 3 white with precise. Impact 1, but it's going to suck against heavy cover, but you're rolling a ton of dice at range 4. So it's not like you have to keep them going forward. You can kind of keep them in the back going after objectives and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I would do with the DLT. Now, this one right here, you're probably going to be getting up close. And then with the DLT-19, HH-12, they're probably staying still and just trying to shoot. Aim and shoot, recover, aim, recover, shoot, whatever they have to do. But Impact 4 is going to be really good. Now, if we were to take a look at commanders that are awesome with just core, so say that you want to go all in with a bunch of good core units, so say kind of like the 6 storms or the 3 shores, 3 mortars for all of that, Darth Vader is going to be the best because he's got Compel, a core trooper unit, and Infinite Courage for all of those. A lot of the core here just suck with the 1 courage value, except for mortars. So having that infinite courage, allowing them to always basically get a move and shoot or 2 actions is wonderful. At least 1 action always, and never panic. So if Darth Vader's around, they're not dropping objectives at range 1 to 3 of him.
and they're going to be doing really well. The second one that you could bring with for core are Moff Gideon, but and the reason I say that is because it's ruthless. Ruthless when another friendly core trooper unit at range 2 or 1 to 2 and in line of sight of him has a face up order token. So if they were given an order at the beginning of the activation phase or the beginning of the round, they were given an order through a command card or through HQ uplink or through some sort of coordinate or whatever, then you can use Ruthless, which taking a wound to perform a free action. So say that you were playing hostage exchange and Moff Gideon gave an order to the he was close enough at range if he was, in the Imperial Remnant, be range 1 to 2. If he was just you were just playing him in a regular Imperial, faction or whatever, just in that same faction, if he's at least at range 1 to 2 in line of sight of the hostage carrier, they could take a wound and do 3 speed 1 moves to really get into the safety of your lines for the most part. So this can really come in handy. You're just going to need a ton of medics. That's really all. And or extra bodies. But it's not bad. And the Observe 1 really does help a lot. And then last but not least, Krennic would be another good one, again, because of Compel. And then the Imperial Death Trooper entourage, maybe you were to give comms relay on the Death Troopers, then they could give an order to the shores, which could then coordinate to a mortar, and then you've got at least 2 core out of the way. And with Compel, again, if you're at range 1 to 2 of another friendly trooper unit, then they can just perform a free move action at the cost of a suppression. So these 3 would be, I think, the best core commanders if you're going to go with a heavy core list or a list that, is trying to do what it can to bring some really stacked core units. But that is really it, guys. If we were going to, just for a take on the shores versus the stormtroopers. So you're going to have the 6 black and 2 white. So let's just say you've got, you got 4 black, right? So 4 hits, and then there's 2 crits that'll go through. Say we have heavy cover. You got 2 crits going through. You've got 3 crits going through. You've got at least 1 crit going through. You've got 2 crits going through. 2 crits going through. Okay, yeah, not too bad. Now let's quickly go to the stormtroopers. Same thing. 2 crits going through, 1 crit, and 2 hits. 1 crit, 1 crit. There's 2 crits natural. There's 3 crits natural. 3 crits natural. 2 crits natural. No crits natural, but at least, yeah. So it's really iffy. The real thing that helps them is the surging to hit. So you're probably going to be getting some. Well, that was a 1 and 2. You might get like 1, maybe 2 hits coming through because you're going to be rolling, obviously, maybe like a crit here and there. But for the most part, you're going to be rolling at least a surge and possibly a crit. See, there's a surge, and like I said earlier. So I'm just wasting time telling you that I think the shores are going to be better to take, and that's just my opinion. That's really it, guys. I don't know if this helped or not, because I've given out some objectives, the commanders that I think are going to be well, and combinations of what I think goes best on some of the core units that we have. So if you did like this video, leave a thumbs up. Definitely leave a comment down below to just let me know what you think and or some extra combos that you've used that you like, and that'll also enter you in to win a gift card. So yeah, guys, hopefully this is great. If you haven't already, head on over to the Discord where I will ask questions in the GAR, CIS, Shadow Collective, or Imperial or Rebel videos here. I'll post a question of like maybe what guys want to see. So if you're interested, go ahead and join up there. You can head to the Patreon. We're going to get everything really early, and if you can, help support the channel, help support this, and it helps with giveaways. It helps with, just information, and eventually, hopefully, I can get some battle reports going. But yeah, this is going to be amazing just to help me out. And then also, if you haven't already, go ahead and head to thebirdacademy.com, subscribe for $15 a month, download the app, and you get everything that's on here so far. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it, guys. If that is it, I want to give a big special shout out to all of the Patreon members. So Kitsune, Emperor Atlantis, Danielle Padilla, Tyson, and Anthony Estrada. Thank you so much for donating and doing what you do and being active in the Discord and stuff like that. So I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And for the rest of y'all have a great and wonderful day.